thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'd love to just hear a little bit about your story, your agency, and how it all started.
Really got started helping sellers in Facebook groups, and then started answering enough questions people wanted to inquire about what we're doing. So kind of got a lot of clients, first clients through that, and then found out, hey, I actually know what I'm doing and I enjoy this thing. Which is great to be able to do something that you love, and it's really just grown from there.
How long has it been?
A little over 3 years now.
Help us set the scene and sort of explain the different types before we dive deep into the sponsored branding.
There's 3 different ad types available inside of Amazon advertising, and those are sponsored products, which is like the OG, what was there first. It's where you run your automatic campaigns, also can run manuals. And then there's 2 other ones, sponsored brand ads, which are where you get kind of like the big headline displays, and sponsored display ads.
I know you're in regular dialogue with the team over at Amazon, and they've been releasing quite a lot of new features.
Yeah.
Let's just cover some of the big ones.
Maybe I can start with the targeting available inside of sponsored display, and then kind of go over some of the updates to those 2 targeting types. Available inside of there's audience targeting, and then there's product targeting. Audience targeting has the availability to show up on and off Amazon. They have access to way more buyer data than we do. Or you can do product targeting, which is your typical, like, I want to show up on this listing and inside it. So it's very similar to, like, say, sponsored product ads, where you can have like your autos and you can have your manuals, or you can use phrase or broad, and each of these kind of changes how your ad is going to appear.
So just on that targeting, what does it look like? What are the dimensions there that are available?
So within audiences, you can do something called remarketing, which is basically like if somebody lands on your listing but they did not purchase, or you could show up to a specific audience. But if you have a product that really appeals to a specific audience, you definitely can go into sponsored display and just test that targeting. And then the other update that they've had is they do purchases remarketing. If somebody's landed and purchased my product, I would like to remarket to those specific shoppers.
What sort of results are you seeing, particularly the retargeting of most of those, I call it like frequent purchases or replenishables?
Yeah, so I think it definitely depends on the product, how they're interacting with your product, and where you feel like it makes sense for you to show up again. For instance, like I said, like the remarketing, if you have a replenishable product, that makes sense for us to show up again. The other thing that I would love to point out is that these models do have a pay-per-click model available, and now there are bidding strategies. I want to say sponsored display has as low as like 10-cent clicks or something. So you really, honestly, if you're testing out these things for your product, highly recommend you start with lower bids and then just work your way up. Don't throw crazy money at it. Test, see if it works for your brand, and then adjust accordingly.
Is there an ability to control where your ad is shown off Amazon?
Now we do. So previously, no. Like there was no way for us to adjust for the audiences. Now there is a way for us to go through and specify to Amazon.
What's changed on the creative front?
They now just updated it, so you have the ability to run all 3 at the same time. Logo, lifestyle, and the headline show up. So in these cases, you do have the availability to like click through it and just kind of like see what the ad is going to show. It gives you like a display.
In instances where you can now use all those 3 elements together in a single ad, you don't have to make that trade-off anymore. What are the results that you're seeing?
I would say the more creatives you can use, the better. You actually can go through and you can update creatives on your current campaigns. So you don't have to give up anything. You don't have to give up all the testing you've done. You can just try a bit of the creatives and see if you can get better performance.
Yeah, I know there's some changes around the Lookback Window as well. What are you seeing and what are you hearing?
So I want to say it is for purchases remarketing. If you have a longer cycle for people, maybe browsing your product, people want to repurchase my product, then it would make sense to take advantage of that longer look-back window.
Are there any other major updates that we've missed for what Amazon sellers? What else should they know?
One of them is the change in the targeting for sponsored display product targeting, specifically categories or similar to advertised product targeting inside of product targeting. The reason why this update is kind of really important to understand is it actually changes how some of your current ads may function. It will change where your ads can show up. The way the targeting works inside of the sponsored display product targeting categories, similar to advertised products, is it will show up contextually.
What advice do you have for listeners? What are some of the quick tips? What are the things you recommend to focus on?
So I think always going to be the OG strategy. What is working? How can I expand on it? So what I would do, I would go into my sponsored product ads. I would see what ASINs am I converting well on for what products, and I would start with sponsored display product targeting ASINs. Now, if you don't really care about ACoS so much and you really want to focus on generating more sales on these particular ASINs, you can click optimize for conversions. Sponsored display, high vids, right underneath their buy box, all day long, all over the page. And fun fact also, if you're running coupons, these show up on sponsored display ads.
What are the most common mistakes that you see people make when it comes to sponsored display?
Yeah, probably really large targeting, and then also a lot of times, honestly, just kind of the same things that don't really work in your traditional ads. If you have just like a whole bunch of categories mixed in with ASINs, mixed in with like similar to advertised products, all of those targeting will form a little bit different. So you just have to like slowly unravel all the things that are working. It's quite painful. If you can segment your audiences, your categories away from your ASINs, your future ad manager will thank you.
Anything that you can see that they're working on, what's coming down the funnel in the next few months? What are you excited for or hoping for?
I'm really, really interested personally to see what's going to come out of this new hourly data available. It's going to be really interesting long term to see how that plays out and how we can use the analytics we're getting from like receiving real-time data.
What is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, for sure. So if you just want to pick my brain, I put out the most content on LinkedIn. So if you're just interested, like, what are you talking about? You can go over, follow me on LinkedIn. If you are interested in seeing if we can help manage your ads for you, the best place is our website, which is junglr.com. Go over there. There's a Calendly link at the bottom. Get in touch. I'm still doing the calls, so you'll get in touch with me.